Do you ever feel your prayers are just words, drifting into the silence? Do you long for a deeper connection, for tangible signs of God's presence in your daily life, not just in moments of crisis, but in every waking hour? Do you yearn to experience the sacred in the mundane, to witness the miraculous unfold right before your eyes? For many devout souls, prayer can sometimes feel like a duty, a routine, or even a desperate plea without a clear answer. We pour out our hearts, our hopes, our fears, yet often struggle to perceive the immediate, transformative power we know God promises. We wonder if we're doing something wrong, if our faith isn't strong enough, or if perhaps the age of miracles is truly past. But what if I told you there's a simple, profound way to transform every single prayer into a daily miracle? To see God's hand moving in your life, not just occasionally but every single day. To experience a vibrant, living relationship with the divine that reshapes your reality and fills it with grace. This isn't about complex theology or secret rituals known only to a select few. It's about a heart-level shift, a practical approach to prayer that can unlock an astonishing power you already possess, a power that has been waiting to be fully awakened within you. Today we're diving into the wisdom of a young saint, a digital apostle, a beacon of modern faith, Carlo Acutis. His life, short yet incredibly impactful, offers us the blueprint for this miraculous transformation. Carlo didn't just pray, he lived prayer. He didn't just believe in miracles, he saw them as a natural extension of a life lived in constant communion with God. He understood that our prayers aren't meant to be one-sided monologues, but a dynamic, living conversation, a conduit for divine intervention in our everyday existence. He knew how to tap into that boundless source of grace and bring it into the fabric of his world. He left us clues, simple yet profound principles that can guide us to do the same. Are you ready to stop just praying and start experiencing? Are you ready to see your life become a tapestry of daily miracles woven by the very prayers you offer? This journey will challenge you, inspire you, and most importantly, equip you with the practical tools to make every prayer count, to make every moment an encounter with the divine. Let's begin by understanding the first crucial step, a step that Carlo Acutis embodied with every fiber of his being, the power of intentional presence. So often we approach prayer as a task to be completed, a list of requests to be recited, or a moment to quickly check off our spiritual to-do list. Our minds wander, our bodies fidget, and our hearts remain somewhat detached. But Carlo taught us that true prayer begins not with words, but with presence. It's about being fully, completely, and intentionally present before God, just as you would be with a beloved friend or family member. Imagine sitting down with someone you deeply cherish. Your phone is put away, your distractions are minimized, and your focus is entirely on them, their words, their feelings, their very being. That is the essence of intentional presence in prayer. It's a conscious decision to set aside the noise of the world, the worries of tomorrow, and the regrets of yesterday, and simply be here now, with God. Carlo understood this deeply, through his devotion to the Eucharist. For him, the Eucharist wasn't just a symbol, it was the real, living presence of Jesus, and he approached it with absolute reverence and focused attention. He called the Eucharist his highway to heaven, and that highway was paved with presence. When you are truly present in prayer, you are not just speaking to God, you are being with God. You are opening yourself up to receive, to listen, to feel, to be enveloped by His love and grace. This isn't about perfection, it's about sincere effort. How do you know if you're achieving this intentional presence? The signs are often subtle, yet deeply transformative. You might experience a profound sense of peace washing over you, a quiet stillness that settles your anxious thoughts. You might feel a gentle warmth in your heart, a lightness in your spirit, or a sudden clarity about a problem that had previously seemed insurmountable. These are not just fleeting emotions, they are the whispers of God's presence, the tangible manifestations of His closeness. You might even find your breathing becoming deeper, more rhythmic, as your whole being aligns with the moment. To practice this, let's start with something simple. Before you utter a single word of prayer, take 3 deep, slow breaths. As you inhale, Imagine breathing in God's presence, His peace, His love. As you exhale, release any tension, any distraction, any thought that is not serving your connection to Him. Repeat a simple phrase silently to yourself. I am here, Lord. You are here. Then, for just a minute or two, simply sit in that space of presence. Don't ask for anything. Don't say anything, just be. Be aware of your breath, the quiet around you, and the profound truth that you are in the presence of the Almighty, and He is fully present with you. This isn't about emptying your mind, but about focusing your heart. It's about grounding yourself in the reality of God's immediate proximity. This foundational practice of intentional presence is the fertile ground from which all miraculous prayer grows. It's the first step in moving from merely speaking at God to truly communing with Him. But how do you move beyond just presence to truly engaging your will and your faith in a way that unlocks divine action? How do you make your prayers truly dynamic, not just a quiet moment, but a powerful force? Stay with us as we uncover the next crucial step, a principle that Carlo Acutis lived out every single day, showing us how to infuse our prayers with unshakable conviction and boundless expectation. It's about more than just belief. It's about a radical trust. Now that we've established the bedrock of intentional presence, the next crucial step, one that Carlo Acutis exemplified with remarkable clarity, is cultivating an unshakable conviction and boundless expectation. This goes far beyond simply believing that God can answer your prayers. It's about knowing, deep in your soul, that He will answer, and acting as if His response is not just possible, but inevitable. Carlo didn't just hope for miracles, he expected them. He saw God as a loving Father who delights in providing for His children, a powerful Creator who is intimately involved in every detail of our lives. This wasn't naive optimism. It was a profound, theological truth lived out with childlike faith. He understood that God's power is limitless, and His love is unconditional. This unshakable conviction isn't about demanding God perform on our timeline or according to our specific desires. It's about trusting His divine wisdom and perfect timing, while holding firm to the absolute certainty that He hears us and He acts. It's a surrender wrapped in absolute assurance. When you approach prayer with this kind of expectation, your whole posture changes. You're not begging, you're communing with the source of all good. How do you know if you're truly cultivating this boundless expectation? You'll find a profound inner peace, even amidst unanswered questions or challenging circumstances. There's a quiet confidence that settles within you, a deep knowing that God is at work, even if you can't see the full picture yet. You might notice a reduction in anxiety, replaced by a calm assurance. You'll start to interpret coincidences, not as random occurrences, but as subtle signs of divine orchestration, little nudges from the Holy Spirit. You might even find yourself joyfully waiting, rather than impatiently demanding. To put this into practice, let's try a prayer of expectation. Find a quiet moment. Begin by affirming God's character. Lord, I know You are good, You are powerful, You are loving, and You are faithful. Your promises are true. Then bring your specific prayer request to Him, but frame it not as a desperate plea, but as a confident declaration of faith. Instead of saying, please God, if it's Your will, help me with X, try, Father, I bring X before You, and I know that You hear me, and I trust that You are already moving to bring about Your perfect will in this situation. I expect Your divine intervention. Then, and this is crucial, visualize the answer. See it in your mind's eye. Imagine the peace, the resolution, the grace. Feel the joy of the prayer being answered, not as a manipulation of God, but as an act of faith, affirming His power and goodness. Hold that image and that feeling for a few moments, letting it sink into your spirit. This isn't about telling God how to answer, but about opening your heart to receive His answer, however it manifests. This radical trust, this boundless expectation, transforms prayer from a hopeful whisper into a powerful declaration. It aligns your spirit with God's will and opens the channels for His grace to flow. But how do we move beyond expectation to actively cooperate with God in bringing these miracles to fruition? What does it mean to truly co-create with the divine in our daily lives? Stay tuned as we explore how Carlo Acutis didn't just wait for God to act, but actively became an instrument of His miraculous power. It's about embodying the change you pray for. We've journeyed from intentional presence to unshakable conviction, laying the groundwork for truly transformative prayer. Now, we arrive at the third crucial principle, one that propelled Carlo Acutis into action: embodying active faith and divine cooperation. This isn't just about praying and then waiting passively. It's about becoming an active participant in God's plan, aligning your actions with your prayers, and being open to how God might use you as an instrument of His grace. Carlo understood that faith without works is dead. He didn't just pray for the poor, he actively served them, using his computer skills to create websites that shared the Eucharistic miracles, inspiring countless others. He didn't just pray for conversions, he lived a life so authentically Christian that it drew people to Christ. He embodied the very change he prayed for, becoming a living testament to God's love. This means asking yourself, after you've prayed, what is God calling me to do in response to this prayer? How can I be His hands and feet in this situation? Sometimes, the answer to your prayer comes not as a lightning bolt from heaven, but as an inspiration to act, a nudge to speak a kind word, an opportunity to offer help, or a challenge to step out of your comfort zone. Your prayer opens the door and your active faith walks through it. How do you recognize the signs of this active faith at work? You'll find yourself feeling compelled to take specific, often small steps that align with your prayer. You might experience a surge of courage to do something you previously feared. Opportunities will seem to magically appear that directly relate to your intentions. You'll notice synchronicities, where people, resources, or information you need suddenly become available. It's as if the universe is conspiring with your prayers, guided by the divine. You might feel a gentle but persistent pull to offer a specific service, or to reach out to someone you hadn't thought of before, or to research a particular topic. To practice this, after your prayer of expectation, dedicate a moment to what we can call prayer-infused action planning. Ask God, Lord, how can I cooperate with your grace in this situation? What small step can I take today or this week that aligns with the answer I am praying for? Then listen. Pay attention to any thoughts, feelings, or impulses that arise. They might be subtle, like a sudden urge to call someone, or to read a specific passage, or to research a particular resource. For example, if you're praying for a job, your active faith might lead you to update your resume, network with someone you hadn't considered, or apply for a position that initially seemed out of reach. If you're praying for healing, it might involve researching healthy lifestyle choices, seeking counsel from a trusted friend, or simply making an effort to rest and care for your body as a temple of the Holy Spirit. Take one small, concrete step inspired by your prayer and commit to it. This principle of active faith transforms prayer from a passive request into a dynamic partnership with the divine. It's about becoming a conduit for God's miracles, rather than just an observer. But what happens when doubts creep in? When the waiting feels long, and the signs aren't immediately clear? How do we sustain this miraculous journey through seasons of spiritual dryness or unexpected challenges? We'll explore Carlo Acutis' profound understanding of spiritual resilience and how to cultivate an unwavering trust, even when the path ahead seems obscured. It's about building a spiritual muscle that doesn't falter. We've embraced intentional presence, cultivated boundless expectation, and engaged in active faith. Yet even the most devout among us will encounter moments of doubt, spiritual dryness, or seemingly unanswered prayers. This brings us to the fourth essential principle, profoundly lived by Carlo Acutis, cultivating unwavering trust and spiritual resilience. Carlo faced challenges, just like anyone else, but his faith never wavered, precisely because he rooted it in an absolute trust in God's perfect plan and infinite love, even when that plan wasn't immediately clear. For Carlo, trust wasn't a fleeting emotion. It was a firm conviction that God is always good, always faithful, and always working for our ultimate good, even if His ways are mysterious to us. He understood that God's timing is not our timing, and His answers might not always look exactly like what we expect. This unwavering trust is what allows us to persevere in prayer, to maintain hope, and to continue in active faith, even when the immediate results aren't visible. It's the spiritual muscle that keeps us from giving up, This isn't about ignoring your feelings of frustration or disappointment. It's about acknowledging them, bringing them honestly before God, and then deliberately choosing to recenter yourself in His unchanging faithfulness. It's about remembering His past mercies and trusting in His future grace. Carlo found strength in contemplating the lives of the saints and the unwavering faith of Mary, constantly reminding himself of God's consistent care throughout history. How do you know if you're developing this unwavering trust and spiritual resilience? You'll find yourself less easily swayed by external circumstances or fleeting emotions. When faced with delays or setbacks, instead of spiraling into despair, you'll feel a deeper resolve to continue praying and acting. You might notice a greater capacity for patience, a quiet acceptance of the unknown, and a profound inner peace that transcends your external situation. You'll start to see challenges not as roadblocks but as opportunities for God to reveal Himself in new and unexpected ways. You might even find yourself thanking God in advance for the answer, even before it manifests. To cultivate this resilience, let's practice the prayer of enduring trust. When you feel doubt creeping in, or when a prayer seems delayed, find a quiet moment. Begin by acknowledging your feelings honestly before God. Lord, I confess I feel discouraged, doubtful, impatient about specific situation. My human understanding struggles with this delay/challenge. Then, consciously pivot to an act of faith and remembrance. Recite a verse or a prayer that affirms God's faithfulness, such as Psalm chapter 23, or simply say, Jesus, I trust in you. Then, recall a time in your life, or in the lives of the saints, where God showed up unexpectedly or answered a prayer in a surprising way. Dwell on that memory, allowing it to reinforce your belief in His power and love. Remind yourself that God's no or not yet is always an act of love, guiding you to something better or preparing you for a deeper blessing. Conclude by reaffirming, even though I don't understand, I choose to trust you, Lord. I surrender this fully to your perfect will and timing. My hope is in you alone. This practice builds spiritual stamina, allowing you to weather the storms of life with grace and unwavering hope. It transforms periods of waiting into opportunities for deeper spiritual growth. But what if our prayers become too self-focused? How do we expand our vision beyond our own needs and truly tap into the boundless grace available when we pray for others and for the world? Carlo Acutis modeled a radical generosity of spirit. Join us as we explore how expanding our prayer beyond ourselves can unlock an even greater flow of divine miracles, not just for us, but for everyone around us. It's about becoming a channel, not just a recipient. We've navigated the terrain of personal prayer from presence and expectation to active faith and unwavering trust. Now we turn our gaze outwards, towards a principle that profoundly amplified Carlo Acutis' spiritual impact, embracing intercessory prayer and communal grace. Carlo understood that our spiritual journey is never just about me and God. It's deeply interwoven with the lives of others, and our prayers become exponentially more powerful when offered for the well-being, salvation, and miraculous intervention in the lives of our brothers and sisters. Carlo didn't just pray for his own needs, he carried the burdens of the world in his heart. He prayed tirelessly for conversions, for souls in purgatory, for those suffering, and for the church. He recognized that when we lift others up in prayer, we are not only participating in God's redemptive work, but also opening ourselves to a flood of communal grace. This outward focus prevents our spiritual life from becoming insular and reminds us that we are all interconnected in the mystical body of Christ. Intercessory prayer isn't just a duty, it's a privilege and a source of immense spiritual power. It broadens our spiritual horizons, teaches us compassion, and deepens our understanding of God's universal love. When we pray for others, we step outside our own immediate concerns and align ourselves with God's heart for humanity. This act of selfless giving in prayer often unlocks blessings not only for those we intercede for, but also for ourselves, in ways we might not expect. How do you know if you're truly embracing intercessory prayer and experiencing communal grace? You'll find your heart growing larger, more compassionate, and less consumed by your own anxieties. You might experience a profound sense of connection to others, even strangers, feeling their joys and sorrows as your own. You'll notice unexpected blessings flowing into your life, often unrelated to your specific intercessions, as God honors your generosity of spirit. You might also witness tangible answers to the prayers you offer for others, reinforcing your faith in the power of collective prayer. You might feel a gentle pull to pray for someone you haven't thought of in a long time, or for a global event, or for a particular cause. To practice this, let's engage in the prayer of expanded heart. During your prayer time, after you've spent a moment in personal presence and petition, consciously shift your focus. Bring to mind a specific person who is struggling, a family member in need, a friend facing a challenge, or even a global event or a group of people suffering. Instead of just a general "God bless them," offer a specific, heartfelt prayer for their situation, just as you would for yourself. For example, "Lord, I lift up name to you. I pray for your healing hand upon their body/mind/spirit. I ask for your guidance in their difficult decision, for your comfort in their grief, for your provision in their need. May your grace abound in their life." Then, extend your prayer even wider. Think of a group. I pray for all those suffering from specific illness/poverty/war. May they feel your presence, receive your mercy, and be touched by your miraculous intervention through those you send to help them. Hold these people and situations in your heart, offering them up to God with the same intentional presence and expectation you bring to your own prayers. This expansion of prayer is a profound act of love, reflecting the very heart of Christ. It transforms us into channels of grace, not just recipients. But what about those everyday moments, the mundane tasks, the fleeting thoughts? How do we infuse every aspect of our day with this spirit of prayer, turning our entire life into a continuous dialogue with God, just as Carlo Acutis did? We will next explore the art of living a sacramental life, seeing God in everything, and transforming every moment into an offering. It's about making your whole existence a prayer. We've journeyed through focused prayer, both for ourselves and for others. Now we arrive at a principle that truly elevates our entire existence, allowing us to live a life saturated with divine presence, just as Carlo Acutis did, embracing a sacramental life and constant communion. For Carlo, prayer wasn't confined to specific times or places. It was the very breath of his life. He saw God in everything, from the Eucharist to his computer code, from helping the poor to simply walking down the street. He understood that every moment, every interaction, every thought could be an offering, a conversation with the divine. This means cultivating an awareness of God's presence in the seemingly mundane. It's about recognizing that grace isn't limited to church walls or formal prayers, but permeates our entire reality. Carlo's deep devotion to the Eucharist was the wellspring of this constant communion. He understood that if Jesus was truly present in the sacrament, then his presence could also be perceived and invited into every other aspect of life. This isn't about magical thinking. It's about a profound theological truth. God is immanent, always with us, always accessible. When you live a sacramental life, you transform ordinary moments into extraordinary encounters. The act of washing dishes becomes an offering of service. A challenging conversation becomes an opportunity for patience and love. A moment of quiet reflection becomes a mini retreat. Your entire day becomes a continuous, unfolding prayer, a living liturgy. It makes your life a testament to God's constant presence and active involvement in your world. How do you know if you're embracing a sacramental life and living in constant communion? You'll experience a heightened sense of God's presence throughout your day, not just during dedicated prayer times. You'll find moments of peace and spiritual insight emerging from unexpected situations. You might notice a greater sense of gratitude for the small things, an ability to see beauty and purpose where you once saw only routine. Challenges, while still difficult, will be met with a deeper sense of God's sustaining grace. You might also find yourself less stressed, more centered, and more joyful, as your inner life aligns with the divine rhythm. You might spontaneously offer up short prayers of thanksgiving, praise or petition throughout your day, without even consciously planning to. To practice this, let's try the moment-by-moment offering. Choose a simple, recurring daily activity. It could be making your morning coffee, walking to your car, checking emails, or even waiting in line. Before you begin this activity, take a brief moment, even just a few seconds, to consciously offer it up to God. Silently say, "Lord, I offer this activity to you. May it be for your glory, for the good of others, and may I experience your presence within it." As you perform the activity, try to maintain a gentle awareness of God's presence. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back. If you encounter a challenge during the activity, offer it up immediately. "Lord, I offer this frustration/challenge to you. Help me to respond with grace." Turn these small moments into conscious acts of communion. Remember Carlo's approach to his computer work. He used his digital skills for God's glory, transforming a modern tool into an instrument of evangelization. You can do the same with your daily tasks. This practice of constant communion transforms your entire life into a tapestry of prayer, making every moment an opportunity for divine encounter and miraculous grace. It ensures that your spiritual journey is not fragmented but integrated, a seamless flow of connection with God. But how do we then share this profound experience with others, authentically and effectively, without proselytizing or making it about ourselves? How do we become, like Carlo, a witness to the power of daily miracles in a way that inspires and uplifts? We'll next explore the importance of living a life that naturally radiates God's love and the miracles you've experienced, becoming a beacon of hope for a world desperately in need. It's about letting your light shine. We've journeyed together through the profound wisdom of Carlo Acutis, uncovering the secrets to transforming our prayer into a daily miracle. We began by grounding ourselves in intentional presence, understanding that true communion starts with being fully here, now, with God. We then cultivated an unshakable conviction and boundless expectation, moving beyond mere hope to absolute trust in God's power and love. This led us to embody active faith and divine cooperation, becoming instruments of God's grace through our actions. We learned to weather spiritual storms by cultivating unwavering trust and spiritual resilience, knowing God is always at work, even in delays. We expanded our hearts through intercessory prayer and communal grace, recognizing the power of praying for others. And finally, we embraced a sacramental life and constant communion, turning every moment into an offering, every breath into a prayer. When you integrate these principles into your life, something truly remarkable happens. Your life itself becomes a living testament, a radiant beacon of God's love and miraculous power. You don't need to preach with words. Your authenticity, your peace, your joy, and the tangible answers to your prayers become the most compelling sermon. Like Carlo, you become a digital apostle, a modern saint, not by seeking fame, but by simply living out your faith with profound sincerity and courageous love. The signs of this transformed life are unmistakable: a deep, abiding peace that transcends circumstances, an inner joy that bubbles up even in difficulty, a profound sense of purpose, and a consistent experience of God's hand moving in your daily affairs. You will see grace in the ordinary, divine intervention in the unexpected, and miracles woven into the fabric of your everyday existence. You become a walking, breathing example of God's active presence in the world, inspiring others simply by the way you live. Your life becomes a magnet for those seeking meaning, for those yearning for the very miracles you now experience. This journey is not a one-time event, it's a continuous unfolding, a daily recommitment. To help you integrate these powerful practices, here are some actionable steps you can begin right now. Your daily miracle checklist, 24 hours. 1. Before your morning prayer, take 3 deep, intentional breaths. As you inhale, invite God's presence. As you exhale, release all distractions, affirming, "I am here, Lord." You are here. 2. During one routine task today, like making coffee or walking, consciously offer it to God. Silently say, "Lord, I offer this to you," and try to feel His presence in that moment. 3. Before bed, Offer one specific prayer of expectation for a need in your life or for someone else. Visualize the positive outcome with faith, trusting God's perfect timing. 4. Notice one small coincidence or blessing today. Acknowledge it as a sign of God's active involvement. Your weekly miracle checklist, 7 days. 1. Dedicate a specific 10 to 15 minute block this week solely to intercessory prayer. Bring specific people and global concerns before God with intentional presence. 2. Reflect on your prayers from the beginning of the week. How has God moved, even subtly? Journal any answers or insights you've received. 3. Identify one area where you struggle with unwavering trust. Choose a Bible verse about God's faithfulness, e.g., Psalm chapter 23, Matthew chapter 6 verse 25-34, and meditate on it daily. 4. Perform one small act of service or kindness, inspired by your prayer for another, becoming a channel for God's grace. Your monthly miracle checklist, 30 days. 1. Start a miracle journal. Dedicate a notebook to documenting specific answers to prayer, divine interventions, or perceived coincidences. Reread it regularly to strengthen your conviction. 2. Commit to a consistent, daily prayer time, even if it's only 5 to 10 minutes. Build this habit as the foundation of your constant communion with God. 3. Identify one area in your life where you can deepen your active faith. What is one larger step you can take, guided by prayer, to cooperate with God's will? 4. Share your experience of a daily miracle with one trusted friend or family member, not to boast, but to inspire and witness to God's goodness. You have within you the power to live a life overflowing with divine grace, to see God's hand in every moment, and to experience prayer as a direct conduit to the miraculous. Carlo Acutis showed us the way, not through complex rituals, but through a simple, profound, and radical surrender to God's love. Embrace Carlo Acutis' legacy, and let your life become a symphony of daily miracles, a testament to God's boundless love and power. If this video resonated with your soul, please subscribe to our channel for more insights into spirituality and mystery. And I truly want to hear from you. Comment below and tell us what you thought of this video, and what daily miracle you hope to experience.